Chapter 14. Scar. Scar frowned as he felt the warmth of the sun fade from his face. He twisted it atop his favorite rock, the smooth, flat one near the pinnacle of Pride Rock. He'd coveted this exact rock for years. It was perfect for the long naps he preferred to take. He could bathe in the sun and while away the hours until the lionesses brought him his food. But there was no willing away in the sun because the sun was no longer shining. Scar lifted one lazy eyelid and peered up at the sky. Those clouds looked ominous. They would ruin his day. "Oh, phooey," he said. "I ask for one simple nap in the sun, and I cannot even get that. What's good about being king if the universe will not cooperate in granting my every wish?" Although he should not complain, the dry season had lasted much too long. He would never admit it to her, but Sarabi had been right when she spoke of it playing a part in the scarcity of food. Maybe the impending rain would be enough to encourage vegetation to start growing again and bring back some of those plant eaters that served as such wonderful meals for him and his ilk. Scar's frown deepened as the faint sounds of commotion rose up from somewhere below. Apparently, no one wanted him to get any rest today. He dragged himself from his lounging rock and walked over to the edge so that he could peer down at the clearing. The lionesses were frantic in their movements, running around like his hyena friends were chasing their young again. Please say it wasn't so. He'd warned the hyenas to stay away. He didn't need the headache. But he didn't see any of the hyenas, so it couldn't be that. Scar narrowed his eyes, zeroing in on Sarabi, who seemed to have taken charge, as usual. Were they plotting a takeover? He had spent the last 6 months anticipating the hour they would turn on him. Their bitterness hung over Pride Rock, permeating the air with the stench of resentment. Scar knew without a doubt that if given the chance, they would banish him from his throne that was rightfully his. He bared his teeth, unable to withhold his angry growl as he watched them plotting his demise. It wasn't supposed to be this way. The lionesses should have fallen in line. It was what happened when a new leader stepped in to command a pride. Maybe he was jumping to conclusions. Sarabi and her lionesses had never outright defied him. It's just that they didn't show enough enthusiasm. He wanted their adoration, or at the very least, their respect. He would have his little stooge find out what had caused the ruckus among them. "Zazu," Scar called. He waited for the bird to respond. When he didn't, Scar turned and peered around the landing. It only now occurred to him that he had not seen Zazu since he returned from his morning exercise. Where was that dodo bird? "Zazu?" Scar called again, his anger rising. He put up with more disrespect from that bird than he should, but this was beyond the pale. Scar knew for a fact that Mufasa had never had to call for the little pea-brained fowl more than once. The moment his brother opened his mouth, Zazu was there, ready to grant his every wish. Scar expected the same deference. "Zazu!" Sorry, guys. Sorry. A moment later, the bird swooped in from the north, landing at Scar's feet. "Yes, sire?" he asked. He was winded, and his feathers looked ruffled as if he were agitated. "Where were you?" Scar asked. I was ordered by Queen Sarabi. I am your king," Scar hissed. "You do not take orders from Sarabi." He pressed his nose to the bird's beak and growled. "We have been over this before, Zazu. You are my major domo. Not Sarabi's, but mine." "Yes, sire," Zazu said. Scar backed away, satisfied by the abject fright he saw in the bird's eyes. "Now that we have that taken care of, I want you to fly down to the clearing and find out what has the lionesses in an uproar. I can hear them from all the way up here." Oh, sire, I do not have to fly down to the clearing to figure that out. I already know. That is why Queen... Out with it, Scar said between clenched teeth. 2 of the cubs have gone missing, Zazu said. The lionesses have been searching for them all morning. I myself flew above half of the Pride Lands, but I found no trace of them." "Is that so?" Scar said. He began a slow stroll around the landing. Now that he knew the lionesses were not down there conspiring to get rid of him, he wasn't as interested in their little palaver. "Sire, did you hear me? 2 of the cubs are missing. Are you not concerned?" Now that he thought about it, maybe he should show concern. Even if he wasn't, it was what Mufasa would do. Not that he wanted to emulate his brother in any way. This was his pride, and he ruled it the way he saw fit. But Scar had to admit that it would be nice if he could finally win over the lionesses. Maybe showing that he cared about their little smelly cubs would gain points in his favor. "Of course I am concerned," Scar said. "I must go down there at once." Scar started down Pride Rock. He quickly realized that a truly concerned king would make haste, so he picked up the pace, reaching the clearing in record time. The lionesses all stopped what they were doing when he entered their space. "What is this I hear about missing cubs?" Scar asked. Sarabi started to speak, but it was Foyola who ran up to him, getting in his face. "They took my Abena!" The lioness shouted at him. "It's those hyenas! I know it is! You brought them here!" Scar growled at the lioness. He should have her banished from the Pride for her outburst. "Foyola, please," Sarabi said. 2 of the other lionesses closed in on her, dragging her away. Scar stared her down. "I will not accept such disrespect," Scar said. He turned his attention to Mufasa's widow. "Tell me what has happened." When Foyola awakened this morning, she discovered her daughter Abena and Serafina's daughter Nala were missing. "We have been searching all day and have covered a large swath of the Pride Lands, but we cannot find them." Sarabi stuck her nose in the air. "I am starting to suspect that the hyenas have taken them." Twin cries rang out from the lionesses gathered close by. Scar glanced over and saw the 2 who were being comforted, Foyola and Serafina. It occurred to him that Serafina's girl was the one who had always been with Simba. "The hyenas know that they are not to disturb the lionesses," Scar said. "I have warned them." "Maybe they decided not to heed your warning," Sarabi said. His eyes shot back to her. But he managed not to lash out. He must maintain control. He should be showing concern, not irritation at these insolent members of his pride. "The hyenas obey my command. They know that it is a condition of their remaining here at Pride Rock," Scar said. "However, I shall question them about it. Maybe they heard something during the night." Gratitude flashed across Sarabi's face. Well, that was interesting. Scar wondered what it would take to turn that gratitude into admiration, or better yet, reverence. That is what he wanted from the members of his pride. He wanted the same respect and devotion they'd shown to Mufasa for so many years, and this was the first time he had seen even a hint of it. Maybe he had been wrong in his approach these last 6 months. "Leave this to me," Scar said. "I promise, if those hyenas had anything to do with this, they will pay a high price." Sarabi nodded. "Thank you, Scar." He left them in the clearing and made his way to the area of Pride Rock where the hyenas resided, in the shadow of the rock formation. "That is very good of you, sire. Surely the lionesses appreciate your taking command in this way," Zazu said, flying to the right of him. "Reminds me of Mufasa." Scar whipped his tail at the bird. "Go back to the lionesses," he said. He didn't need anyone comparing him to his brother, and he didn't need that bird sticking his beak into his business with the hyenas. Scar grunted. He detested that he even had any business with the hyenas. What he wouldn't give to be done with those mangy bottom feeders, but they had shown loyalty to him when his own pride had not, so he would have continued to tolerate them. He and the hyenas, they had an understanding. He would continue to honor it until it no longer suited him. For now, these hyenas still served a purpose. Scar rounded a boulder and spotted Bonsai. At least it wasn't Ed, who irritated Scar to no end. They all irritated him, but if he was being honest, if he was being honest, but none more than Ed. Banzai would be of no use to him today. He needed the one who considered herself their leader. Shenzi, Scar called, come here at once. The hyena sauntered out from between the two large rocks she fancied as her headquarters. Oh, hey there, Scar, she said. What brings you down here to hang out with the riffraff? The other hyenas chuckled. Their insistent laughter grated on his nerves. The only thing they seemed to take seriously was their next meal. What do you know about missing lion cubs? Scar asked Shenzi. Her eyes widened. We killed that little lion cub, Scar. I told you that months ago. You're the rightful king because Mufasa and his runt are dead. I'm not talking about Simba, you fool. I know he is dead. I'm talking about the 2 lion cubs that went missing last night. Shenzi's head snapped back. Last night? Yes, 2 of the cubs are missing, and Sarabi believes you hyenas may have had something to do with it. She's lying on us, Scar, Banzai said. Don't believe a word she says. He's right, Shenzi said. We stay away from those lionesses. She looked around at the other hyenas and grinned. Now, the kills they bring in are another matter. That zebra they brought home the other night looked so good we couldn't stay away. They all fell over laughing, rolling around on the ground like the idiots they were. We will discuss your pillaging the food stores too, Scar said, but not today. There are more important matters to be concerned about. Besides, he wasn't up for arguing with these deplorables over their raiding the food. It was the job of the lionesses to hunt. They needed to do a better job of it. So no one here had anything to do with the disappearances of those cubs? He asked. I could take your word for it? Absolutely, Scar. It wasn't us, I swear, Shenzi confirmed. He shrugged. That was that. He'd done what he'd promised Sarabi and the others he would do. Let them figure out what happened to their cubs. It was no longer his problem. Besides, it's what they deserved for treating him the way they had since he took over as their leader.